to the Meant for More Mindset podcast. I'm Yar. As a peak performance coach and lifestyle architect, I help women who are ready to reach their next level, eliminate negative self-talk, and break through what's been holding them back so they can have clarity, confidence, and prosperity in their career and lifestyle. This podcast is to empower you with a Meant for More mindset and help you reach your next level so you can uncover your purpose, reclaim your power, and reach your potential. This means no longer living by default, but dreaming big and pushing yourself to be, do, and have more. I want everyone to know that change is possible, that you are not alone, and there is an alternative way forward. Because when you change your mind, it will change your life. Hi everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Meant for More Mindset with me, Yar. And today I have the amazing Natalie Dinning with me. I want to make sure I get that correct. So Natalie, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Hi everybody, I am Natalie Dinning and I am a mum of two. I live in Islington, London, and I am a founder of a company called Lesley Sauces.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Natalie, before we launch into the conversation, please tell us something interesting about you that most people don't know.
Okay, something interesting about me. So actually, I once trained as a scenic artist at the Royal Opera House.
Wow. So what does a scenic artist do?
So basically, I was trained how to paint scenery, and that would go on the backdrop of performances. And we sometimes had to scale like a photo or an artwork from really small to like really, really big sizes. So yeah, I got trained how to do that. And we would like meet with different artists and work out like the whole team. So we would work out what the whole production is and what they needed in terms of scenery. And we did all the hand painted scenery.
Oh, that's
Very
amazing.
I
Wow.
loved it.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your story, like how you started out and how you got to where you are now.
With the business that I'm doing now.
Just life, really.
Emerald. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm born to my dad's an amazing man from Jamaica. My mum's English. But both my parents actually were born in England, but my dad's born from Jamaican parents. And growing up, I have one younger brother, and I grew up in a really lovely house full of kids. My mum was actually a childminder and a foster carer growing up. So we grew up, yeah, with a house full of kids, which was amazing. At the time, it didn't always feel like that, but it really was. I've always been interested in business from an early age. It was always something that I was always looking at anything I loved, any hobbies, and how I could turn it into a business. It was a real passion of mine. And art was like really big for me growing up. I was really inspired by a lot of artists, and I just really wanted to like be really creative. So I spent a lot of my like childhood either in art college or just at home in my made up art studio painting all the time or reading and learning. I just have such a thirst for knowledge, and always I just want to always improve what I know, and yeah, I'm very passionate about that. And so I've tried different things. I've had different businesses um, throughout the years, and now being the founder of Lesley Sauces, it came about kind of accidentally. The pandemic had a lot to do with that as well. Do you want me to talk about that right now, or do you want to go into that on a little bit later?
No, we can talk about it right now.
Yeah. So I actually was an antiques dealer, and sourcing for interior designers, and I loved it. Very passionate. about like art and design, and like I said, about being creative. I also did dabble a little bit in interior design like years ago, and I've been really good at it. And it was something that I definitely wanted to go into and pursue more. And then the pandemic happened, and that business kind of like, it kind of just flatlined a little bit. The wheels kind of came off of that for a little while because I traveled quite a lot with that business, and obviously pandemic we was unable to. But really luckily, my dad had a jerk kitchen, which was actually at the Arsenal Stadium. And we was there for over 14 and a half years. And he developed, we had a range of sauces that were our family recipes that we used to use on our stall, and our customers absolutely loved them. My mum sadly had a really bad stroke and was unable to work, so had to like give up working as a childminder and etc. And it was really like sad to see one of the most hardest working women that I knew unable to work. So kind of was, all of our customers on our stall kept on asking us to launch these sauces that they would use on our stall. And you know, my mum's actually not a Jamaican woman. She actually is an English woman, half Geordie and a half East End Cockney woman. um, so we I just said to my dad, like, can we like let's launch these sauces? I started helping him out, and I was like, can I rebrand everything? Can I do this? And he was like, go for it, go for it. And I just rebranded everything. I started setting up social media and engaging with the customers in a different way. And it just really added a lot to the business at the time. And it was going from strength to strength. And my dad is actually the world's best cook, FYI. And I'm not, well, I am biased, but like he is. Um, and we used to use the sauces. And when my mum had the stroke, I just said, I think like the time is now, like, can we like let's launch these sauces? And my brother went off to Jamaica, met with our family, and our aunts showed him how they make up the sauces that we've had in our family for years. And a thing about Caribbeans, we don't measure nothing. So
Oh,
we just stuff. Like I like to say, we let the ancestors guide our hands in terms of seasoning. And that was quite challenging because we had no kind of formal kind of recipe, but he just spent time with them, showing him how they make them, what makes these sauces like kick. Um, and he brought them back to the UK, and we reworked them, added our own little flair here and there, but being careful not to take away the essence of what made them our family, like much loved recipes.
oh,
And we trial launched them, um, and then it just was a massive hit. Like we would sell out on the stall, and we was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing, like it's really good. And we pivoted very quickly just before we closed our stall at the Emirates to a manufacturer for the sauces, which was like really long process, a really, really long process, because we now are trusting our recipes to somebody else. And so we needed to partner with the right people. And we did that. And we got our first delivery of sauces, which was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But we were still in like a soft launch phase. We hadn't really officially launched, but we knew that we were going to. But we were still in that trial stage of it to see if this is going to be a viable business, or if this is this just a passion that we have and something that just our food customers like. And then the pandemic hit, and my business, like I said, the other business, the wheels came off of that really quick. And I was just sitting here, and I need to work. I love working. I'm just so passionate about working. I have two sons, and I have always wanted them to have an entrepreneurial like like spirit as well, but equally so if they want to work a career, like I'm here for that, but I'm really passionate about work in general. And I was just sitting here and I went to my mum's house and met with my mum in the pandemic, and I could just see that it was a hard time for everybody, and we all was like, what is this? We just didn't know, it was the unknown. But I was looking at these boxes and I was like, yeah, I'm going to launch this business properly now. Took the company out of dormancy in 2020. It was June 2020. I took it out of dormancy and I was like, no, setting this up now properly. We're going at this. Entered the pandemic with probably maybe about 10 stockists and left the pandemic with about 60. Um, which was amazing. And so we grew a lot, like our following just started and our community started just like going mad and getting really excited. And we had sadly closed our store. My dad, sorry, closed his store before the pandemic. And yeah, the community there was just like, this is amazing, we're behind you. And everyone really supported us. And I began sharing our story more and more and letting people know these aren't just sources that we've just made up right now. These have been in our family for generations. And it's like a form of us like inviting you into our family. And I sat down on that in that June 2020, really like I literally behind my laptop right now, I have this really big pin board and I pull it up and I was like, because I'm a visual person, let me map out like what I want to do with this business. We're here now, but what vision do I have for this business? Where do I think it can go? Where do I want it to go? What are like my whys? What um how am I going to help our community? Because that for me is everything for me. Like I love people. And as much as I'm passionate about business, I'm so passionate about helping people have their light bulb moment in whatever it is. That's really, really big for me. And I have a background as well with being a youth leader in my community. So it was really important that I could use Lesley sources for the community. And I was a bit unsure of some areas how I was going to navigate this, but I had like a vision and I just went for it. And yeah, we now have a really big community side to our business, which is actually growing as much as the actual sources is, which like sometimes is quite overwhelming. But yeah, I think is that enough? I'll go on forever.
No, no. That's because I was about to say, because I feel like you're still being a bit modest because you haven't told the
I
audience.
am. I am.
Yeah, you haven't told the audience about who some of your stockists are, because I know. Please share.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So okay, so when I did do that whole pinboard time and session, I said straight away that I want us to be premium. So I wanted to place our condiments at a premium level in retail. And it was something at the time that no Caribbean sauces or brands were doing. And I did question that. No one's doing it. So can it be done? Um, should it be done? How can it be done? If all of these massive Caribbean condiment companies, and I'm talking, we've got like some amazing brands and and also brands that are really well known, right? So I'm like, if they haven't hit on a premium level, what makes me think I can do it? As soon as I said that, I was like, nah, 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 I can do it. Anyone can actually do it. So I pitted us premium, and I'm happy to say that like all of our stockists are either premium butchers, farm shops, or delis, all independently owned, doing amazingly well. Some have chains. We're in Notting Hill, we're in places in Kent, some amazing amazing shops, some of the best butchers in the UK, honestly. And last year I launched into Whole Foods um, as the first female-owned Caribbean sauce company that has ever been in there. And that was a real big milestone for us as a brand. Um, and me as a woman, like, and even though I'm mixed race, like the world sees me as a young black woman, and I'm happy for that because I love my melanin. And actually, I've spent a lot of time in our childhood in Jamaica growing up, and I'm like, this is amazing. I weren't just hitting that milestone for me and
Mm-hmm.
for my family. I was hitting that milestone for every single woman that looks like me, but also even for all of our men as well, um, all of our strong, amazing, like entrepreneurial black men. Like I was doing that for all of us because these doors need to be opened, and the fact that a lot of them are closed to us shows me that it's just not like it's not right. Okay, and um, luckily there were a black owned coffee brand in Whole Foods, and there was a planting crisp brand, I believe. I'm not too sure on that one, but definitely a coffee company. But in the food space, nothing. But we contribute so much money to these companies,
Yes.
and I just thought, if we contribute so much money, why aren't we getting money back?
Yes. Yes.
And,
Yes. Yes.
and I just felt that there's something wrong with this equation here.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be a disruptor in this scene, and I'm happy to do that. I probably gave myself my work harder than if I probably pitted us at lower end. It may have been easier, it might be easier, but I'm a firm believer of anything that like is worth having sometimes ain't easy to come by necessarily. Um, so that was a massive milestone for us, and we're selling very well in Whole Foods. I encourage anybody, if you're ever near a Whole Foods, go in there, support it, because it's not, like I said, it's not just about buying our jerk sauces or our pineapple sweet chili sauces or any of the ranges we have to support just our brand. We are doing some amazing things within our community. So please, yeah, like definitely go along and support us. And actually, since us launching in there, they since launched another female owned, a black female owned condiment company, and another one, which when I saw that, I had a tear in my eye, and the lady actually screenshotted our products on the shelf together, and I just was like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It goes further than the sauces. It goes further than food. Like it's about changing um communities. It's about changing systems. And like, if I can do it in the retail sector, I'll go and do it in the retail sector. On our launch day, we actually where I was featured in the window in their flagship store, which was in Kensington High Street. Again, black owned companies aren't really seen on that street. So to see my face boldly on there, which was something that I really like. I'm getting used to now seeing my face more and more on things, but it was a big, massive moment, and the response has just been overwhelming. But we also are in a lot of restaurants as well. So we supply sauces to some really great restaurants that you might not know it's our sauce because they use it in cooking. We were on the tables of Rum Kitchen, all of the Rum Kitchens. Yeah, we started a collaboration with them, using our hot pepper sauce that they had on their tables in all of their restaurants. And it was only meant to be for a short amount of time, but the success of it skyrocketed us up, and we it got extended, and I think we was in there for almost like about a year. um we was one of the most stolen items in in the Rum Kitchen. Customers would always steal our sauces off the tables. And when I was in a meeting with them and they said that, I was like mortified. I was like, oh my goodness. but then a ping came in my head, and I was like, how can I use this like to advance our business even more and strengthen this collaboration. And then I pitched that we actually get featured on their menus, that you can buy our sauces. And they loved the idea and rolled it out. And we saw customers enjoying the sauces, like eating while they're there, but then also picking up a bottle or two or three. Sometimes even our gift boxes were there to take home. So that was really amazing. We do a lot of collaborations with other companies, like Ray and Nephew. We did celebrating Jamaica's 60th anniversary. At Carnival, we did like gift boxes and stuff. That was really an amazing collaboration. And I do a lot of different collaborations actually, which are really good. Last year, I was invited down to number 10 Downing Street to talk about my business and talk about how it's been, like, how's business life? How did I set it up? What challenges do we face that we know that we need help in? Where can the likes of the government or whoever like help us to break down these walls? And for me, you've just sometimes got to take a seat at these tables if you want to see change, and it's definitely something that I want to see. I was invited to Jamaica's High Commission office last year again to talk about business ownership, but also how I can partner with them to strengthen my community also in Jamaica, as well as here. And I'm really pleased to say that I'm working with them on how I can do that more. So we're going to see some really exciting things happening this year and next year with that partnership. But like I said, we have a massive community side. So I partner with food banks across London, and I've given away hundreds and hundreds of sauces to these food banks. And my reason for that is because I noted, in my borough especially, and a few surrounding boroughs, there's a high percentage of African and Caribbean households that are actually visiting these food banks. And generally the items that they get given don't really reflect their culture, our culture, maybe dietary requirements. And I felt that even though our brand is premium, I really want it to be accessible also for people that can't afford it. And I was like, how can I do that while serving the community? And that was my way. So at a time when they probably feel the lowest, I want them to feel seen. So when they open up, I've got a sauce here actually. This is a hot jerk, by the way, guys. So when they open up their food parcel and they see Jamaican flag, it instantly makes them feel seen. And it, the feedback from that has been amazing. My sons helped me to deliver them and bring we go there and we talk to people and like hug, everyone hugs us, and it's just like the community has been amazing. So that's a really big part of Lesley Sauces, fostering that community, letting people know that they can do whatever they put their mind to. And yeah.
I love that. I really, really, really love that. Thank you so much. And I want to ask, who's it named after? Because I know it's called Lesley Sauces. Is that your dad?
My mom. And it's
Ah,
so contradictory because my mom is not Jamaican. But the reason why behind naming it after my mom, so originally my mum, so I mentioned that growing up we spent a lot of time in Jamaica, and my mum actually made a jerk sauce that we used to use on the store originally, and that was by using family recipes and adding a little kick on it, how her little spin on it. So she used to give it to us and allow us to use it on the store. And when mum got ill, we was like, we just want to call it after her because in my family, the women are like powerhouses, like absolutely powerhouses. It would have either been called my mum's name or possibly my gran, because just like I said, like absolute powerhouses and phenomenal women. I mean, my dad's phenomenal and the guys are phenomenal, but you know, so yeah, we called it Lesley, but now I get called Lesley every day.
So I wanted to ask you, because when you speak about women, I wanted to ask you how you spoke earlier about being a woman and taking a seat at a table. How important is that to you, and how has that experience been for you? Like in terms of what have been the challenges with it to get to the point where you are actually showing up and ensuring that you take a seat at the table.
It's really important to me, first and foremost, because I'm a woman.
Mm,
um, and it's been hard, hasn't been easy.
mm,
Um, my journey in life alone, let's just put business to the side for a second, in life alone has been really challenging. I've had a lot of challenges in my life, a lot of really, really hard times, times when I would never thought I would be a business owner of a successful company or like do helping the community, even though it was a want, it is challenging. And being a mom, it's really challenging. It was important for me to take that seat because I wanted to let other women know that if it sounds cliche because we hear it a lot, right? If I can do it, you can do it. And I hear that so much. And sometimes I look at the people that are saying it and I'm like, you don't look like me.
yeah.
Like, like we have a challenge being being a woman of color. We have so much challenges anyway.
Yeah.
Um and and when we're told, well, if I can do it, you can do it, and you don't look like me, but you haven't got the same challenges as me. And I know that we all do have different challenges, but I just felt it was important that I can take that seat. And also, for me, it's not just about me taking that seat and sitting down. It's about me taking that seat and then learning how to extend that table so that I can bring other women along as well, regardless of your color, regardless of your background. Um, you could be in C-suite in a business high up, or you could be someone that works in Sainsbury's. It doesn't bother me. Like, you need to be at that table as well, because I feel like we have so much stuff that we can share and give, and we can edify each other, lift each other up. So I'm coming to take that seat at the table, not that it's inclusive just for me and my brand and
Mm.
my journey, that I can make it like it's accessible. So yeah, it's really important. And I'm meeting a lot more women now. I'm gonna be really honest and really transparent because this is what I am with my journey. Um, I've grown up in a family of mainly men. I'm I've got loads of cousins, and there was only three girls on one side of my family. So I've always grown around a lot of guys, like a lot of men, and learned so much from them as well. And I think there's a beauty in that as well, of actually working alongside men and showing them this is how this is what we've got, and we can actually do what you're doing, and actually sometimes do it better, but you also open a door for us. Like, stop closing it. Like, just stop closing it on us. Because we're bosses, and like we're phenomenal. Like, absolute women blow my mind. Like, blow my. I went to a meeting the other day, and it was actually hilarious. We went in, and I was like rushing, and went in, and I was like, what have you been up to today and stuff? And I was like, oh, not that much really, to be honest with you. And everyone's talking about what they've done, like, and stuff. And then I just said, yeah. So I got up this morning and set breakfast for the kids, like made sure they got up and went to school, went to work. Fed the cat, cleaned up, did all the dishes, quickly put a wash on and hanged up some washing, put some washing away. First and foremost, I have my prayer time every morning. Um, and and then I was like, I did a meeting and I had to quickly go and drop something to my son's school because he forgot something. And I ran back to the office and did, and they was looking at me and was like, well, I thought you said you did nothing. And this is something that I've come across that women do a lot, a lot, a lot. And regardless if you've got kids or not, we do a lot. I call myself an octopus. Um, so that's why I think it's important that women take the seat. But I just really want to see authentic women, real women. They're going to tell the grit, but then also show you the amazingness and all in between. Like, so I hope I answered your question.
You did, and leading on from that, you have such great energy. You have amazing energy. So I really need to ask you, what motivates you to get up and go every day?
Okay, this is a big question because I would love to sit here and say, because I want to change the world and all of the amazing things that I've just said to you that I do, which are true, which
Mhm.
are true. Some days I don't wake up motivated, being honest with you. Some days I don't wake up. Some days I wake up and my prayer in the morning is, I'm just grateful for waking up,
Yeah.
you know? And I think it's important to talk about that because sometimes people assume that we've got to be go, go, go all the time and happy, happy, happy all the time. I mean, me, I live for joy. I live for happiness. I live for peace. Um, and I'm high energy. Like I'm always quite an energetic person. Um, but the things that motivate me is seeing the changes that I can make and getting that buzz when it works or when that person sees that light bulb. So those are the things that really, really get me going and really motivate me. That I'm like, I've impacted somebody. I get messages. Oh, my community is what motivates me. I say to everyone, build a great community around you. Like, build a great community around you. It's so important. I used to be a person that I didn't need help. Well, I felt I didn't, and I'm gonna do everything myself. Like, I am the island. I was that person. Like, I didn't want to ask for help. It's something I'm learning now to be better at asking for help. But build a community. I realize like now I've got an amazing community around me, yourself, like phenomenal woman you are. And my energy, your energy is like beautiful. We've not known each other for that long, but when we met each other, we just clicked. And I think that's the beauty as well. Like, I never knew what you do. I never knew that you have an amazing podcast. But I just felt your energy. I'm a spiritual person and I trust my intuition a lot and I knew it was right with yourself. So like having someone like you, now you're part of my community. So you're never gonna lose me right now. So just so you know, um, but it's really important. And my kids are like I've got two sons, and in London having two sons is really challenging, but um, it's so rewarding and beautiful. Not all the time, but not all the time. Oh my gosh, I've got an influx of grey hairs from last year. And I believe it was because I was balancing two teenagers and business. I'm also a carer, actually.
Yeah.
I'm also a carer, like as well for my mom. So all of that. um, uh, but those are the things that really get me going. But the community, let me just jump back. I get messages daily, like from people saying you inspire me. Um, like it could even be I get messages from people saying, my son goes mad about your sauces and I've run out. Please, like, where can I get them again? Because he wants dinner today. Like, I can't order it on the website like I normally do, but he wants it dinner today. Like, this is my area. Like, where can I get them? And then I'll be like, okay, this shop's near you. Like, thank you so much. And like, I'm like, oh my goodness. And I could
Um,
be literally having a bad day and like receive them messages. And I'm constantly reminded of it's not just a source, Natalie. Like there's this whole movement that's happening with our brand at the moment. And
yeah.
this whole like community of people that are like just a part of it. Like I always say, like when you buy our sources or when you like communicate and interact with our business, like you're part of our community, and we're actually building um some really amazing things at the moment with our business. I can't say much about it, but at the moment, but it's that fostering I'm so excited about this. Like it's going to actually change so many people's lives, and that's what keeps me going. That is what gets me like up. And when I'm having them bad days, when I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm just making this up as I'm going along, or it's not working, it's hard. Last year was one of the most challenging, no, not one of the most, it was the most challenging year in business for me today. And but I overcome it. I overcome it. And in those times, what got me through is all of the things before that I've just told you. Um, and plus, like my family and friends were like, not quitting, hey, keep on going. So, yeah.
So, so community is definitely a resource that's helped you get to where you are now. But what other resources have helped you along the way?
God, for
Mm.
me, like literally, I was talking to God yesterday and I said to him, without you, my life would be dark. And I don't mean it like lightly. I'm being so honest. So I'm a woman of God. Like my faith is the most important thing to me. It surpasses business. It surpasses anything. It even surpasses myself for me. My faith is what grounds me. It's what keeps me level-headed. And also it's what keeps me loving people because I have such a big heart capacity for people. Um, and that definitely directly comes from God. Um, and I have to be really clear on this. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe that I don't shun people because they don't have the same faith as me, or I don't. I have friends that are Sikh and Muslim and like have different faiths, but like that's their journey. And I'm not like everyone has to be on my journey or my understanding, but um, my faith for me is everything, like absolutely everything. So that's definitely another thing that keeps me going. And other resources, actually, some brilliant companies, like seeing other companies smash it and like opening up doors. Like I could like list hundreds of companies right now that I know that are like smashing it right now. And also when I see people doing so good, I'm like, yes, for you, like, yes. And then I'm like, oh my God, they've made me think of another way that I can do something like for my business or for me or strengthen and in the community. So those things get me going like no one, like nothing. So,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I really do because I think it's so important to the fact that you've spoken it because I was on I was actually on another podcast recently, and when I was on the podcast, we were talking about how basically haters. We were talking about how haters and it's the opposite of what you just said. And the opposite of that is when you don't have you look at what somebody else does and you point out everything that's wrong with it. But what you've done is the beauty of it is seen everything that's right with it and then used it as motivation and inspiration to figure out how you can do it for yourself. And so I think
yeah.
that's really, 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 really beautiful. So one thing I would want to ask you is, what's one thing you wish you would have known when you started out? Because it sounds like you've done so much. Well, it doesn't sound like you have. You've done so much.
Yeah. What is one thing that I wish that I knew, did you say?
Yeah. When you first.
Um, that the road isn't like this all the time.
Mhm.
Um, it goes like this a lot, and that's okay. There's no right way to run a business. There's right things to do, obviously. Let me rephrase say that a bit better. There are wrong things. There are things you should not do in a business. There is things that you should be doing. But your pathway, someone else's pathway is not going to be your pathway, and that's okay. You're gonna like sometimes lose. Like you're gonna sometimes not get it right, and that's fine. Like it's absolutely fine. It will not feel fine at the time. Um, and I wish at the beginning I knew that that was okay and I could give myself that grace to
Yeah.
be that way, and also to make sure that you give yourself time to breathe.
Yeah.
Just give yourself time to breathe. So I work very different now to how I did last year, and
Mhm.
very different to the year before that. Um, and that's progress. Like for me, I'm in a place now of working more strategic, um, which sometimes feels like I'm not doing enough. But then when the results come in, I'm like, I've reached the result
Yeah.
without burning myself, because burnout is really, really, really real. And especially in entrepreneurs, it's very real. Mental health is like, is is really visible and there and present, for anything that you're doing. But entrepreneurs, if you know a business owner, go and check on them. I always say this: go and check on them, ask them, are they okay? Don't talk about the business, talk about something else, you know. So yeah, I wish that I knew that at the beginning, because I just felt that it had to be this way all the time. I was so dazzled by Instagram
Yeah.
and so dazzled about people's journeys. And I felt that if I didn't hit this milestone or that milestone or that milestone, then it meant that I weren't successful. And then I was adopting someone else's version of success and I wasn't adopting my version of success. And I think, yeah, just give yourself that time, like just give yourself that space.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I absolutely love that. So now we're going to turn this conversation a little bit on its head, and I'm going to ask you, what has been your biggest failure, and what have you learned from it? And this doesn't have to be just in business; it can also be in life.
Um, Thought of a lot of business things then. It's like, um, but no, not believing in myself enough. Yeah,
It's a big one, and very honest too. Well done. And what
yeah,
what have you learned from it?
to believe in myself.
And I no
sounds
no no
it
no.
sounds really simple,
Yeah.
but it's not.
So what's that journey look like? That was going to be my next question.
It's been I'm still on that journey right now. Um, Being honest. And there's still going to be times that come up that I don't believe in myself. And like I said before, allow yourself to
Yeah.
breathe, allow yourself space. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine. Um, but you've got to keep on going this way. And
Yes.
even like I said about this, even if it goes down and up, but
Mhm.
you've got to keep on moving that trajectory. You've got to keep on going towards that way. So don't let the down stop you from still looking up. When you're down, don't feel like down is just always going to be like this. Every season can change, right? Things can change just overnight. And I've got many of those stories where it looked rubbish right now, and I got a phone call 2 hours later, and it changed the business just like within a space of 2 hours. Um, so I'm still on that journey. Be kind to yourself. I've had to learn to be kind to myself, because as much as I know that I'm an amazing businesswoman, as much as I know that I can close great deals, as much as I know that I can build great communities, I still have doubted myself. And
Yeah.
some may say, well, how could you doubt yourself if you know that you can do all of that? Because I'm human, like I'm human. And sometimes I listen to too much noise,
Yeah. Yeah.
much noise. And it could be social media, it could be any, like there's so much different noise out there right now. We're living in an overstimulated time right now. Um, so just I've learned to be kinder to myself, um, turning off my phone, closing down my laptop, um, going for a walking has saved my life. Like I walk. We're going on a walk soon, right?
Yeah.
Um, I, I walking has been something. Okay, this is proven, by the way. I'm not a doctor or nothing like that, but I've been reading about this. I research everything. Like one of my favorite spots to be at is a bookshop, and I was sitting there for hours and just read as much things as I can, and then leave and buy like a bag of books or whatever. But um, when you walk, it's a lot of therapy for your mind, because when you're walking, you're focusing on where you're walking, your foot placement, the space that you're at, and it helps your brain. I don't know all the scientific terms of this, but it helps your brain to to um to process things in a different way. So walking has definitely helped me. I walk a lot. Like I actually walk every day for an hour. Um, well, probably walk more, but every day I have an hour in the evening to myself.
Yeah. That's
And
amazing.
sometimes I might not walk. Sometimes I may walk and sit down. I might go and sit somewhere,
Yeah.
and just it's crucial for me to have that hour um, for myself. I don't know if is that have I answered what you said?
No, you have answered because I asked you what was your the initial question, what was your greatest failure, and you said, and it was you didn't believe in yourself, and you've just given me not only have you answered the question, you've also given tools as to how you got to a place where you now believe in yourself more, and you're still on that journey, which also was a very honest answer. And in
Yeah,
terms
it really is.
no, sorry, what are you going to say?
I was gonna say, like, no one in the room knows you don't believe in yourself. Can you imagine? No one in the room knows that you do not
Sid.
believe in yourself, because I actually pitched, right,
Mm,
last year in December. I was nervous. I was
mm,
in a room of people, my first ever pitch. I was so nervous.
mm.
I was going toilet. Like, kept on going toilet a lot. And my hands were sweating, and I talk anyways, you probably can tell forever, but I was over talking. I was over analyzing. I was like having a right meltdown, and everyone around me didn't realize. Nobody realized. They just thought like I needed to go toilet, or
Yeah.
no one realized. And I got up and spoke, and I ended up winning.
Mm, yeah.
No one knew in the room.
Yeah.
No one knew. And I'm not saying I don't believe you should fake it till you make it. I know people say that. I think that's for me, it's an unhealthy thing,
Yeah.
because sometimes if I'm down, I do say to people now, I'm down. Like, how are you? I'm not in the greatest place right now, but I'm present and I'm here. You
Mhm.
know, I like to be honest like that. I don't need to tell you everything that's going wrong, but I don't I'm not I don't feel like I need to always say I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And because I think that can be kind of damaging for yourself. And
Yeah.
then also the person that you're talking to, they probably might then adopt that. Natalie's always
Yeah.
great. It'd be great. And I'm like, we could have helped each other here. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not feeling great today. And then you could be like, do you know what, Nat? Having a really rough time too.
Yeah.
And then like, we don't want to talk about it, but we're just not great. But that's fine. We're here. Let's go and smash this. What we got to do. And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah. No, and it's so true. And going back to what you were saying about walking, what I found is that anytime I was I've been overwhelmed and like maybe too much to do or a big decision to make, and I'm like, and I just find myself being overwhelmed. I go for a walk, and when I come back for a walk, it's almost like, okay, in that walking time, I come back with a much clearer mind, having had conversations with God, but also just walking and just kind of stimulates the thought patterns, and then this thing that felt so huge, or all these things that I felt I had to do, doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to do this, and it's the kind of the reminder that you need to give to yourself is, I can only do one thing at a time. So I'm going to do that one thing, and then I'm just going to get on with the rest of my day, you know. And 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 also, I think, as going back to what you were saying earlier, as women, we do so much, but as women, we forget that we will have these long to-do lists that just get longer and longer and longer and longer. But then somehow everything on that to-do list gets done. So you just kind of like, you have to remember the amazingness of who you are. And so when you said believing in yourself, that touched me differently. So thank you for your honesty and your transparency. So I now have another tough question for you. And it is,
I love tough questions.
good. What was your greatest fear?
I don't really feel fear.
Yeah.
Like I I think, okay, don't get me wrong. I fear mice. Scared of mice, and I don't like roller coasters. But in terms of fear, I don't fear that I'm going to leave this earth, not leaving an imprint or not doing something I love. But it's something that I'm conscious of that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would use fear as the right word to describe that.
Mm.
And if I'm really honest, I don't know what I fear
That's
apart from the mice and the roller coasters.
but maybe
um,
maybe that's what it is for you. Like, maybe, and that's okay, because it doesn't, I think sometimes we feel like we have to have an answer to the question, and it's very human to, because I also understand the questions I ask are questions that you don't think about on a regular basis. Nobody's asking
yeah,
you these questions on a regular, you're just living your life.
yeah,
So when the questions do come up, it may not be as easy for you to answer, and that's okay, because it's a very honest place that you're coming from. And
yeah,
and and that's what I want. I want honesty, because I think ultimately that's what we all need, is honesty. And I think there's not enough honesty. And that's part of the reason why I do this podcast, is to help people see that there's no difference between me, you, or the next person, the next woman, because the only difference is that they may have the fear of not wanting to, being afraid to level up for whatever reason. And I think having these conversations allows them to see, like, you're just the same as everybody else. The only difference is just you haven't done it yet. That's the only
yeah,
difference. The only difference is
yeah,
because if it's on your heart to do it, you will at some point. You just haven't done it yet. And if this can be the catalyst, the push that gets you there, then I'm happy to have the conversation that helps.
yeah. I love that. I love that. Your questions are really good.
Oh, thank you. And so, on the other side of the fears, I want to ask you, what excites you the most about the next 12 months?
About the next 12 months, how many lives I'm going to change. Oh, gets me like, oh, I
Yeah.
scream daily, it's something I do. I scream like excitement.
Oh, I
But
love
yeah, the next months, I'm really excited to see how many lives I'm going to change. And um, I feel like I'm in a really good place right now in my life.
it. Mhm.
Um, I just turned 40, um, and my kids are older now, 15 and 19. And I'm in a different place right now. I'm understanding a lot of what I want and what I need and what the differences are between the two, because wants and needs are very different. Um, and sometimes we could think we need something, but it's not a need, it's actually a want.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very aware of myself, which is a lovely place to be in. Doesn't mean that I'm not having like really hard times. I'm just going through a lot of hard things at the moment, actually. Very like a lot of challenging things, but I'm getting through them. And that's something that God showed me the other day. It is challenging right now. Life is really throwing a lot of curveballs at me. But I'm getting through them, and that's beautiful. Like that's actually beautiful. So I feel like I'm in a good place. I'm going to actually speak to a lot of people that are over 40 because I want to know. I'm curious. Is this what happens when you turn 40? Like, is this what it feels like? Because it actually feels bleeding amazing. Like, you know, it really does. Even the hard times, I'm telling you, like I approach things very differently now. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited also to learn more about myself over these next 12 months. I've got a lot of, like I said, amazing things to that I'm getting on with and I'm doing. And I'm also really excited to see all these people that I've been seeing putting in a lot of work and things are just switching over. Things are turning over. Like things are really turning over at the moment. And I'm so excited to see what everyone's going to get up to.
Yeah, I do believe 2024 is going to be a fruitful year for many, many, many people.
100%.
So, speaking of fruitful, what advice would you give to a woman who wants to go to her next level but isn't sure where or how to start?
Surround yourself by people that are already up there. Surround yourself by people that are already at the level that you want to get to. Um, and ask them, how did you do it? Like, how did you do that? You're not going to do it the same way they're doing it, but
Mhm.
they're gonna drop nuggets and listen, like spend time actually listening, because they're like I said, they're gonna be dropping nuggets that we haven't. If you're not on that level yet, if you're not at that place where they're at yet, but you're trying to get to there, they're going to start talking about the language they're using at that place is going to be different to the language that you're using here. So learn everything, adopt that, start talking like that, start talking like you're there already. I love that stuff. Like plan, vision, like get a vision board. It actually works, guys. Like it's not just this airy fairy kind of thing or creative thing that makes sounds great. It actually works. Have your vision and please just know that you can do it. Like, please know, it doesn't matter your past. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter if you're big or you're small or you don't have no one around you right now. Like I promise you now you can do it. Like you can absolutely do it. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's really not going to be easy, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. And I think, no, let me say that. I don't think, I know that when you arrive there, you're going to just be like, pat yourself on the back and please stop and look at and celebrate all your small wins, because it's not about just the big wins that we celebrate. Celebrate all the small wins that you've had up until that day. It might be even that you suffered from depression, but now you get up every morning when you didn't before. That's well, actually, that's not small win. That's a massive win. But like, get used to celebrating yourself because you're on the way to greatness, and allow other people to celebrate you too.
Oh, I love that. So, what's one question, if you could step in my shoes, that you would have asked that I haven't already asked you?
Oh, yeah. This is why your podcasts are amazing. This is why. What a question. Oh my goodness. Could have asked me. Um, that's a big one. I don't know. What could you, oh gosh. You really got me on the spot there with this one, but I want to answer it.
Okay,
Um, I really want to answer it.
I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, let me think. That is a really good question. Curious to know now what anyone else says to that one. I don't know. Oh my goodness. nothing really stumbles me like this.
No, that's fine. You don't have to answer it. It's
No,
not.
I know you really want to. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. 'Cause I don't really get lost for words.
Mm.
Like I really don't. So that's oh you got me there, y'all. I like that. I really like yeah, I really like that.
Oh,
Um I don't know what I would I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like you asked a lot of questions
mm.
that covered a broad spectrum, and I like that we spoke about life and business.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like you've covered so much areas
it's
that is
fine.
amazing.
Yeah, we
So,
don't.
guys, I will think about it, right? And just maybe one day I'll text y'all and be like, yeah, I think it might have been this, but I don't know. But
And if you
is there
do,
anything?
I'll put it on there. I'll put it on Instagram and say, remember when Natalie said,
Yeah,
well, this is
this is her thing. This is her thing.
yeah.
This is her thing. But yeah, I like that. I like that. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What are you excited about
In the
for the
next 12
next
months.
yeah, what are
Um,
you excited?
I think I'm excited about the reality, not just the possibility, but the reality of stepping into my power, really stepping and knowing what that is. Because I think I've always known it, but I'm naturally a helper. So I'm naturally somebody who's always been giving to others more. And I think that that's a good thing as well as it's been a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. It's been instilled in me from childhood. So it was always about, a good person helps others, but you then forget to help yourself. So in this time, I'm realizing that if I help myself first, then I have so much more to give to others. So for an example, is one of the things that I am doing this year is exploring a new place every month. So I wasn't able to do it in January, but for the rest of the year, I'm going to go somewhere I've never been to before. Um, every year in and outside of the country. And the reason for that is because it opens my mind and it expands my mind and puts my mind in a different place. And because of that, it then makes me see what the possibilities are for me. And if I can see the possibilities for myself, then I can see the possibilities for other people. And then also, I think as people, we're all called to greatness. And I think oftentimes we wait for others before we step into our greatness. We wait for others to tell us it's okay. We wait for others to come with us. We wait for others to kind of almost show us the way. And what you have to remember is that you were given that dream, you were given that insight, you were given that vision, not the next person. So it's time for you to step into that for yourself first, and whoever's supposed to be come along the way will come along the way. If you wait for them to come, you're just going to get stifled waiting for somebody else who's doing their own thing, living their own dream or not, but they're doing their thing. And so it's important, it's fundamentally important to do yours.
I agree with you. I think as well, you could be waiting and they don't even take that. They don't even take, they're not
Which is
even
the worst.
going that way. They're going a different way. So you're just going to be waiting. Like you're going to be waiting. I'm very much like you in terms of I'm a helper,
Mhm.
and I agree. Sometimes it's been to a detriment of myself. Um, a good friend of mine said, if you have got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you can help other people, and you've got to pour into your pot first before you can pour into other people's pot. Something definitely that I've learned along the way, and yeah, everyone is so like the possibilities that are out there
Yeah.
for everyone. It's amazing, and that's really I love that you're doing that. I was very fortunate of growing up and being able to go to lots of different countries and
Yeah.
see life in different ways and know that there's life outside of Islington, out of North London. Like, and like there actually is a whole life, believe it or not. But
Yeah.
yeah, and you're right. If you can see something different, you can think something different. And
Yeah.
as a mum, I've I've always taken my boys to different places and places where people say also kids really maybe like shouldn't go, but like I would take them so they can see I've taken them to business meetings. You've seen my
Yeah.
son at two events we've been at. I take them. I always like get the okay sometimes, like from the organizers. Can I bring my kids? And I bring them because it's important for me that they see business. They see how it can be done. They see how people are coming from work and then going to an event and how people talk to each other. The art of communication is so important to me and something that I've really taught my kids from when they was younger. It was important for me to teach them how to talk and communicate before they even entered the schooling system and how to read because and write because the art of communication is very, very important. So yeah, that was really good. I want to leave you with something because I
Sure.
know you're something um that came to my mind
Yeah.
during my prayer time yesterday and my walking time because I kept on overthinking about I'm an overthinker about all the things that could go wrong with this thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's something I'm doing, thinking, oh, but that could happen and this could happen and that could happen. And God just told me, but what if it works out
Yes.
right? What
That's
if
what
it
I'm
works
saying.
out right?
What if it goes right? We always think
If it
about what goes wrong, and we should
and
be
what if
aware of what should go right. Sorry, you were saying, continue.
no, 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 no. But like what happens if it works out right? But what happens if it even works out better than you even could even imagine? Imagine that. Just imagine that. So I kept on repeating it back to myself. And then I said to myself, I spoke about the thing that I want to do. And
Hmm.
then I said, Natalie, imagine if, keep on doing it, because imagine if it's going to be better than it was. I said back the same thing to myself, better than you could even imagine. And I replaced the the negative and the worry with a positive, and you can do that with your man. I'm at a I actually met somebody a little while ago that helped me to understand how to change things in our mind.
Yes.
Um, and it was a game changer. It was an absolute game changer. So that goes back to your community. Build a great network, guys. And yeah, go on yours podcast. And if you don't listen to it, listen to it. And tell somebody else to listen to it because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of amazingness that comes from your podcast for
Oh,
sure.
oh,
For
brilliant,
sure.
brilliant. And
I feel blessed to be on this. I
oh,
feel
I'm blessed
blessed.
to have you. We
I
are
feel
blessed
so
to have you.
honored.
We are blessed to have
Oh,
you. And before you go, I do need to ask you, what gives you a meant for more mindset?
being around people like yourself
Mm.
makes me know I'm meant for more. Always, always, because you're opening up doors. You're showing us different things.
Yes.
You're teaching us about life. It makes me know that I'm meant for more than like a situation that I'm at. I'm meant for more than this. Like I actually saw a video yesterday. One of my absolute inspirations in business is a lovely lady called Emma Greed. And I think I always say her name wrong. Is it Greedy? Greedy? I've got to get it right because it's very important that you pronounce people's names right.
Mhm.
Um, she's from East London, but she's over in LA and
Oh,
she's
she Skims. Is she the Skims lady?
yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
worked well, she's one of the co-founders of
Yeah,
Skims.
her and her husband and Kim, the three of them, right?
I believe so. I always thought it was her and Kim,
Oh
but
no, I think her husband is part of it, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
yeah, and same with me. And as much as I absolutely love her, there's areas that I don't know about her. But she comes from East London, right?
Mm.
And she is the genius behind some of like some massive brands. And if we
Yeah,
just took the Kardashians, Skims and Good America, what Khloe Kardashian does, and
yeah.
she's got a brand with Kris Jenner as well, and like some like she does phenomenal things. She's just um she's um she's part of the 15%. club as well, which is where they promote people to spend 15% with Black-owned businesses. It's like a real massive thing. But basically, she's over here right now in London to do something. She was actually on Dragon's Den. But my point is, when I went on Instagram and I saw that she's in London, I started screaming. She held a night, hosted a night with 40 incredible women that inspire her and that are doing phenomenal things at the moment in London, right? And as I was scrolling, I saw so many women that I follow.
Yeah. Oh wow.
My eyes filled up with tears, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! This is amazing!" And that made me realize I was meant for more. Like I'm meant.
You need to be there next time you're in London and doing her 15%.
I could be there in those rooms, and that kind of stuff is what fires me, gets me fired up, and knows that I'm meant for more, even at this stage, at that stage, at that stage, at that stage. We're all meant for more. So yeah, there we go.
I love that. I love that. And we shall get in the room with the
we can create our own rooms, guys.
Let's for real, let's. And so we've reached the end now, but before I let you go, I must ask you, how can our listeners connect with you online?
So you can head over to our Instagram, which is at Lesley's Sauces. That is LESLEYS and then SAUCES. I say it so many times. Make sure I get it right. So Lesley's Sauces, and we're on Instagram, and we've got our website as well. It's getting a rebrand, which is www.lesleysauces.com. We are getting a rebrand that will be probably launching in, I say, 2 months. So you can hit us up there, and we're also on LinkedIn. So you can follow me on LinkedIn, Natalie Dinning. If you want any advice or anything, I'm also actually a business consultant as well now. So I'm helping brands grow. So if anyone just wants to even have a chat, it's like, it all comes to me, the messages. So.
Oh, fantastic. And I'll also put that in the description and show notes. So you'll be able to click on the links on there, and that'll take you straight to all the places that Natalie lives online. Oh, Natalie, I just want to acknowledge you before we go. I want to acknowledge you, and I just want to say thank you for your amazingness. Thank you for your transparency and your being open and honest, and even at where you are in your business at such a successful level, the fact that you want to grow and you're still inspired and you want to help others do the same is amazing. It's not just about you, it's about, I was even having this conversation with somebody the other day, and it's the importance of we, not me, and you really focusing on that with your family, with your community, with your both online and in person. Even the way we've connected, you're just an amazing person who loves to give back, and also is beginning to understand your own power and growing in that as well. And so just as well as you're giving back, you've also started to realize the importance of giving to yourself, and you're doing that also, and that just makes you greater and even bigger force and even more amazing than you already are. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything that you continue to do, and just stay amazing and live in your light.
Thank you. That means everything to me, honestly. That's what motivates me, that kind of talk. So thank you so much. I'm such a humble person, honestly. Sometimes I want to let it go to my head a little bit, but I really don't. I'm just so honestly really humble. But thank you. That honestly, means like so much to me. And well done. Well done. This community you're growing is amazing. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much. So guys, that's it. So I shall see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening in. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and do all the amazing, wonderful things to share Natalie's message all the way out there. So I shall see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. For more about me, what I do, check out my website, nextlevelcoachinggroup.com, where you can also download my free Release Your Mindset Blocks guide. You can also follow me on Instagram at Next Level Coaching Group, or on Facebook at Next Level Lounge. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating and review. Thanks. See you on the next one.